Interesting thing about the mind is that the mind cannot tell the difference between reality and reliving of a reality. So if, for example, you go through a trauma, an accident, an argument, or whatever it is, your body at that point releases chemicals to deal with that trauma. So let's talk about adrenaline. I think the bodies, they've identified at least 4 what they call happy chemicals as well, and it works for both. We talk about oxytocin, serotonin, all of these kind of happy chemicals. But in the same way, there are chemicals that are being released to deal with trauma. And you'll notice that actually, when you have an argument, you'll have a physical response to that, which is that fight or flight. When your body goes through that, it has to deal with those chemicals in the body. When the mind is reliving that trauma, the body is having the same chemicals being released again and again. Because the mind just says, trauma is happening, I need to have some chemicals to deal with this trauma. Even though you're just thinking about it. Now, what happens, why people go into a perpetual cycle, is because the body then starts getting used to those chemicals. So let me clarify that. You go through a trauma, your body releases chemicals. Sadness is one of these examples. Depression is essentially this. The body releases a chemical. The more the body releases that chemical, it thinks that it needs that chemical to survive. It continues to do that. And that's why people go into a perpetual cycle of just living in a trauma, because they are now no longer just stuck within the mind. Their body feels like it needs those chemicals. And there you get into where people are just constantly living that trauma. The mind releases that chemical. The body says, yes, I need those chemicals. So in effect, depression is addictive. They have become addicted to the chemicals of depression. The same can be said for those people who are constantly chasing a buzz, a high. The people who are abusing narcotic substances. It again is the body saying, I need that chemical. So what happens in the mind has a physical response in the body. And this is where it becomes far more complicated to treat someone who just says that they're stuck in this cycle of depression, of trauma. Because it's now no longer something that is just within the mind. Present moment awareness releases its own chemicals. And you are now almost flushing out and retraining the body. The more that you remain in the present moment, the more that you detach from past memories and sit within the present moment, in a moment of no time, no past, no future, simply looking at where you are right now, it's almost as if you're flushing the body. And this is why meditation and present moment awareness is so therapeutic. Because it's getting you out of that cycle.